Hello guys, and welcome back to our channel. Now in today's video, I want us to take a look at a disturbing video which has surfaced, leaving many stunned outraged. A self-proclaimed Trump supporter is facing intense backlash for her heartless and dehumanizing comments about immigrant families. Now, with a chilling lack of empathy, she callously dismisses the struggles of those separated from their loved ones, even finding humor in their pain. Now, her words are just a reminder of the divisive and dehumanizing rhetoric that has become all too common. But what's perhaps most disturbing is the depth of hatred and intolerance that underlies her statements. Who uses language like subhuman to describe fellow human beings? Now, in this video, we'll take a look into the implications of her words and the broader context of anti-immigrant sentiment in the US. We'll also explore the reactions of different people and what they just have to say about her video. So with that said, let's take a look at her video as different people react. I'll be right back.
I don't give two that families are being separated if somebody's getting deported. I actually find it hilarious. It gives me a great deal of comfort. I have no sympathy that your child might grow up without a father because he got sent back to Mexico or whatever. I mean, y'all are welcome to go with him. Don't forget that's an option. That's a choice that you're making, right? I don't have any sympathy for your little videos that you're making on social media with all the tears. I'm actually laughing at you that you're sitting there crying for attention. Okay. I find you guys to be subhumans. All right. Now, while you're sitting there judging me because I don't care that families are going to be separated from each other, I'd invite you to recall that hundreds of J6ers were separated from their families for something that equates to little more than a trespassing charge. Where were you then? Okay, bye.
Hey everybody, what was your favorite part of the video? My favorite part was when her finger disappeared into the filter on her face. I mean, Jesus Christ, woman. It is January, and you seem to be putting in your bid for Piece of the Year, and I would think you have a good shot if it wasn't for the video I made just before this one, where a grown man chased down a child and punched him in the mouth for driving on his road. If you haven't seen that, it's because TikTok won't put it on the For You page, but do feel free to go check it out. In the meantime, Melody, it feels weird talking to an empty profile, and this blocking thing doesn't work for me, so there we go. I don't know why you blocked me if you were just going to go ahead and make your profile private anyway. We both know you did that because you're a coward. Because you said what you said, and then you started getting heat for it, and you tuck tail and run. Like your 15 accounts you've had before this, and your many, many hot takes. You're a poster. And posters do that for attention, but for some reason, you seem to not enjoy it when you get it. And you're going to get a lot for this one. Because not only are you mocking people who just came here to try to make a better life for themselves and their families and are trying to be contributing members of society, not only do you mock them in their hardest time, you insult them further by comparing them to J6ers, the people who tried to overthrow our government, who violently assaulted members of law enforcement, who were trying to find elected officials so they could drag them out on the lawn. Every J6er, everyone who supports them, you, and especially that orange on that light-colored house. But the real icing on the cake is when you made it clear you were talking about Mexicans and then referred to them as subhuman. Seemingly paint a picture that for you it's brown man bad, me no like brown man, me blame brown man for all me problems, me send brown man away. And now, April, your round, is starting to... I'm sorry. I don't know why I called you April just now. I mean, Melody. Your round is starting to find out. And it seems well deserved.
You know what personally ticks me off about these people, aside from the things that, you know, most people are ticked off by that person and that person was saying. For me, what really irks me is that I know that these people cannot pass a citizenship test. I know that these people don't understand anything about the Constitution. And with their full chest, they can sit there being so entitled to be so disparaging about an entire group of people who literally just made the decision to come into this land for a better life for themselves and their family. And they can gleefully say that while they sit there with the benefit of not having to lift a goddamn finger to become an American citizen. That's the part that really just irks me. Cause like, I know these cannot pass a citizenship test, but they, with their full chest, can act like a jack online and act entitled to be an American.
Yeah, no, I earned that. I deserve it. But since I posted it last night, we do have an update. In case you need to be filled in on who this is Hot Take Melody, I think also known as April. And she said some of the most hate I think I've ever heard. And though my video got taken down, I still stand by everything that I said. I cannot, in my mind, understand how somebody could be so filled with hatred for other people that it drives them to this. And to see somebody who's just so excited and joyful, almost like borderline aroused at the idea of families being separated, at the idea that children could be growing up without their, one or both of their parents. I'll never understand how somebody could, harbor that kind of hatred. You know who else is laughing? Melody, April, whatever your name is. We are. Do you want to know why? Because it looks like your, now former employer thinks that you're a piece too. And they put up this statement today. Pause to read. But the most important part of this statement is that the person involved has been contacted and is no longer with Bidadoo. You want to know how I feel about that?
I can't really say what I really want to say on this app because I will get mass reported and probably lose my account. So I'll say this in the most PG way possible for y'all to understand. I hope your spirit never finds peace. I hope your family, your family's family, your children, and children's children never find peace. I wish onto them 5 times, 10 times, 100 times worse than what you wish on other people, especially people of color. That's all I can say. That's all I can say so I don't get reported. But I really wish your whole lineage suffers because of you. I really mean that.
Who was trying to get attention? People were just upset that they were being hunted like game. It seems like you were trying to get the attention, and you got enough attention because your account went private, because you had to shut it down. Didn't like the backlash, huh? You were acting so brave in your video, though, saying all the sociopathic things that you were saying. See, this is what a lot of people want us to do. They want us to see other human beings as you said, subhuman. The problem with that is none of us are subhuman. I don't know if you have some serious mental issues. If you do, I hope that you're able to get those taken care of. But we don't need people like you dividing us more and urging us to look at other human beings as if they're not.
This is the third video that I've seen someone duet of this young lady. And we, me and you, madam, and to the rest of the people who have seen this video, hear me loud and clear. We are logical, rational, open-minded, compassionate adults. So I ask you, have a heart for this person, for you too would be frustrated if you look like the bottom of a stingray. We don't even like stingrays because of what they did to Steve Irwin. She has to walk around with that on display. Megamind was hideous for a cartoon. For a human, too much for the heart to bear. The underbelly of an alligator with eyes, thumb with a face no one should have to endure such pain. You would not be happy either. So I ask you, madam, please, with me, find a way to open your heart and give some love to a short-necked giraffe. Please, I beg of thee.
Oh, well, here we go. And it's really interesting how a person like Hot Take Melody would talk so much big, but literally put her entire account on private. For that silver tongue to really go loose, turn to lead. Yeah.
Do you know you have 30 minutes? You guys know what to do. This right here is the information you need. Absolutely not. I'm gonna say this with my whole goddamn chest, and I know you might not like it, but when you like, it is going to be hot as you guys have no morals. Absolutely no morals. You just called these people subhuman, stating that you do not care what happens to them, that it brings you joy, that it makes you laugh. That is absolute crazy work. Mind you, this is the party who claims to have Jesus. He is null and void within the MAGA party. What the hell was that? You really recorded that and put that on the internet, laughing, thinking that was funny. This is exactly why I left the Republican Party, because when I was over there, it took a couple months of me seeing how crazy you guys are, how the lengths that you will go to laugh at another person's misery. Absolutely insane. Could not relate.
Hot Take Melody says that immigrants are subhuman. Now, where have we heard this type of language before? I talked about this before, but years ago I went to Germany and I went to a museum, and it was kind of it was kind of how they got there, and they focused a lot on the ghetto and propaganda videos and flyers. They depicted the Jewish people as these, I'm not going to even say the terms that they used, but it was terrible. It was very bigoted. Donald Trump has done such a great job at brainwashing you guys and using his own propaganda to say that brown people who are escaping violence and coming here are the enemy. We all know it's white American citizens who commit the most crimes, the most violent crimes. You compared immigrants to January 6ers for trespassing. You've got to be out of your goddamn mind, because 1,500 of those people who were just pardoned were assaulting police officers who were stealing displays from the Capitol, who were stealing people's laptops, who were going around trying to find Mike Pence to unalive him. There was a man with zip ties. He wanted to unalive politicians, all because they lost an election. You are such a cruel, heartless person. You better pray that God has mercy on your soul, because there is a lot of Americans who do not give about you anymore.
The only reason that you feel that way is because you're white and you have privilege. Yes, Hot Take Melody, whatever your name is, that's the only reason why you on here saying that. It's disrespectful to the Mexicans and, all these people that are losing their families because they have to be deported. You only don't give because you're white and you have privilege. If it was your family, how would you feel? I can't stand white people like you. Get off the internet and go do something with your life. And I'm not talking about the educated white people. I'm talking about the uneducated white people. I cannot stand y'all, because y'all would never get it. And I tried to go to her page and I tried to stitch that video, but I see she got her page private. But it's white people like you that know they have privilege that get on here and just talk junk like that. It's disrespectful to these people that's losing their families. Girl, get off this internet and go do something with your life.
Honestly, if you ask me, I would say it's not surprising that this kind of rhetoric is coming from a Trump supporter, given the administration's history of divisive language and policies. However, what is truly shocking is the sheer amount of hate being spewed by this individual. Like, how can someone possibly wish for children to be torn away from their parents and then have the audacity to label fellow human beings as subhuman? This is a reminder of the dangers of dehumanizing language and the devastating consequences it can have on marginalized communities. When people start to view certain groups as less than human, it becomes easier to justify cruel and inhumane treatment. The fact that this individual is openly reveling in the suffering of others is a chilling indication of just how far people have strayed from basic human empathy. And I feel we need to call out this kind of hate speech for what it is, a toxic and destructive force that has no place in society. You know, I'm not surprised because a lot of data actually reveals the role President Trump's R to the cis rhetoric has played in encouraging violence in America. First, Donald Trump's support in the 2016 campaign was clearly driven by R-to-cism, sexism, and xenophobia. While some observers have explained Trump's success as a result of economic anxiety, the data demonstrates that anti-immigrant sentiment, R-to-cism and sexism are much more strongly related to support for Trump. Now, Trump's much discussed vote advantage with non-college educated palm color people is misleading. When accounting for R-to-cism and sexism, the education gap among palm color people in the 2016 election returns to the typical levels of previous elections since 2000. Trump did not especially well with non-college educated palm color compared to other Republicans. He did especially well with palm color people who express sexist views about women and who deny R-to-cism exists. Even more alarmingly, there is a clear correlation between Trump campaign events and incidents of prejudice violence. FBI data show that since Trump's election, there has been an anomalous spike in hate crimes, concentrated in counties where Trump won by larger margins. It was the second largest uptick in hate crimes in the 25 years for which data are available, second only to the spike after September 11, 2001. Though hate crimes are typically most frequent in the summer, in 2016, they peaked in the fourth quarter, October-December. This new high rate of hate crimes continued throughout 2017. Now, the association between Trump and hate crimes is not limited to the election itself. Another study based on data collected by the Anti-Defamation League shows that counties that hosted a Trump campaign rally in 2016 saw hate crime rates more than double compared to similar counties that did not host a rally. In a 2017 survey, researchers randomly exposed some respondents to R to the cis comments by the president, such as when Mexico sends its people, they are not sending their best. They are sending people that have lots of problems. They are bringing Ds. They are bringing crime. They are grapists, and some I assume are good people. Other respondents were exposed to a statement by Hillary Clinton condemning prejudiced Trump supporters. Later in the study, the respondents were asked their opinion of various groups, including Mexican people, black people, and young people. Now, those who had read Trump's words were more likely to write derogatory things not only about Mexican people, but also about other groups as well. By contrast, those who were exposed to Clinton's words were less likely to express offensive views towards Muslims. Words do matter, and data prove it. Now, fast forward to the present, and it's alarming to see how Trump's return to power has emboldened these individuals to express their prejudices openly. The mask of civility has slipped, revealing a disturbing sense of entitlement to spew hate and intolerance. It's as if they feel vindicated, validated by Trump's presidency to unleash their bigotry without fear of reprisal. Now, this phenomenon is deeply troubling, highlighting the pervasive and systemic nature of R-to-cism, sexism, and xenophobia in American society. It is a reminder that the progress made in recent decades is fragile and reversible, and that the focus of intolerance are ever present, waiting to be unleashed. This is like a culture when it comes to MAGA supporters, because not so long ago, about a month ago, if I'm not mistaken, we saw how Laura Loomer, a far-right activist and loyal supporter of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, sparked widespread backlash after making inflammatory remarks about Indian immigrants. Now, the controversy came amid ongoing debates over reforms to the H-1B visa program, a key pathway for skilled workers in the United States. Now, in a series of social media posts, Loomer criticized the recent appointment of Indian-American entrepreneur Krishnan as a senior policy advisor for artificial intelligence at the White House. She called the appointment deeply disturbing and described Indian immigrants as third world invaders. Our country was built by palm-color Europeans, actually, not third world invaders from India, Loomer wrote. She further stated, it's not R to the cis against Indians to want the original MAGA policies I voted for. I voted for a reduction in H-1B visas, not an extension. Now, Loomer's comments were met with swift criticism, including from prominent Trump supporters. Entrepreneur David Sachs clarified that Krishnan's stance is not to eliminate green card restrictions entirely, but to remove country-specific caps, which create long backlogs for applications from countries like India. Applications from India have an 11-year wait, whereas applications from other countries face no wait at all. Now, Christian supports a merit-based system, not an unlimited one, Sachs explained. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and a vocal participant in public discourse, endorsed Sachs' position with a brief comment, "Makes sense." Vivek Ramaswamy, biotech entrepreneur and Republican presidential candidate, also weighed in, offering a cultural perspective on the issue. The reason top tech companies often have foreign-born engineers isn't an American IQ deficit. It's cultural. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long. That doesn't start in college. It starts young, Ramaswamy wrote on X, formerly Twitter. Now, Loma, who describes herself as a proud Islamophobe, is no stranger to controversy. She has previously faced condemnation for her inflammatory rhetoric, including comments about Vice President-elect J.D. Vance's wife and disparaging remarks about Kamala Harris during the 2020 presidential election campaign. In a past post, she claimed the White House would smell like curry if Harris, whose mother was Indian, assumed office. Now, this pattern of provocative statements has led to distancing by some Republican figures, including Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump himself. Lom's comments drew attention to the broader debate over immigration policy, with critics accusing her of stoking division. Indian-American data architect Siddharth Ram characterized Loma's remarks as rabid articism. He added, anyone opposing high-skilled immigration is fundamentally anti-American. This nation was built by immigrants who drove innovation from Albert Einstein to Sergey Brin. We have finally come to the end of the video, but what do you have to say to Trump supporters, especially this palm color woman who said this about Mexican immigrants? Share your thoughts, your views in the comment section. Thank you for always watching and see you in our next video.